power rankings for round 5 of Super Rugby. It's a bit of a weird one in that 3 teams were on the bye and the Crusaders and Highlanders didn't play. So there's like a third of the teams out of action. So yeah, we'll get through the teams that did play. The teams that didn't play are obviously still on here, but movements aren't quite as dramatic as perhaps they might have been. In 15th, the team that did play are the Chiefs. They still managed to get a game in. It ended in a draw. I suppose you could look at a draw as a good result if you're a Chiefs team that were 4 losses on the bounce, but still winless, still in 15th. They played better, but still 15th it is for the Chiefs. Next, and down another spot, the Sunwolves. Sunwolves, they've still looked good, but they still lost another game. So they've only got the 1 win. It was over the Chiefs. They lost at home to the Reds, which was probably a game they should have been winning. They were in a winning position and managed to not get it done. So disappointing. That was definitely a target game to win, a conference rival. If they'd gone 2 from 5, they would have been kind of pushing to get in that chasing pack. But right now, they are just following along, and yeah, we'll see if things can improve. But I mean, I suppose they're not getting hiding, so they're competitive, which is decent. Next, and down 4 spots are the Hog Juarez. The Hog Juarez don't like South Africa. They tend to pretty much always get beaten in South Africa. Their current tour has been the same. None from 2 on their run there, so they'll be disappointed. You feel like that South African conference is really tight. The Hog Juarez are at the bottom of it, so once they get back home, maybe they will improve, but for the minute, it's not been the best couple of weeks for them. Finalizing this bottom 4 are the Reds. So the Reds got their first win. They are now not like they left the Chiefs as the only team without a win with their first result. So it was a wee while coming, but they did get there. It was away, so you give them a bit of credit because winning in Super Rugby away is not always that easy, but it was the Sunwolves, traditionally not the strongest team. So yeah, they managed to get it done just barely. Credit to them for that, but not much more. Next, the Blues somehow are managing to go up 1 spot. The best thing the Blues can do is not play. Basically, I think as we go through the power rankings this season, you know, their losses were all early on, so we start to stop focusing on their losses and start to shift to the more recent results. Their most recent result is a win, so that perhaps helps them a little bit, and the results of other teams shifting around. So, yep, my Blues, the best thing they can do is just not play. Sharks, they are on the bye. They don't move, so they're another team who's going to need to up their game. But on the bye, nothing really doing there. The Tars are in 9th, and they are another one of the big movers. They are down 4 spots, a pretty disappointing loss for them. Just like the Sunwolves, they kind of had a chance to get like into that area where you're pushing for the top of your log, and you're one of the strongest teams. Not able to get it done. They drop points to a team below them, and yep, they pay the price here. The Highlanders didn't end up playing with the events in Christchurch. Fair enough. Everyone needed to kind of check their headspace at that point. Everyone's still in mourning, so yep, nothing doing there because they didn't play. The Brumbies are up 4 spots with that win. So when the Brumbies win, they tend to do it pretty well. It's just the losses that they've got to worry about. So are they going to get better? I hope so. Are they a very inconsistent team? Yes, they are. So it's not much between a lot of these teams like the Brumbies and the Waratahs. It looks like it on the board because they're up a whole nother row, but there's really not much between them. They've got pretty similar records. So yeah, the Brumbies, big win over the Chiefs, I suppose, puts them in a bit of better favour, but some of their losses have been pretty disappointing, although close as well. At least the one to the Rebels was anyway. Next, and down 2 spots, the Rebels had their first loss of the season They almost got it done, but a game where the penalty count was 20-1. They didn't manage to get it done. Had a big lead and weren't able to hold on. I suppose credit to them for getting close to the Lions in Joburg. At altitude, it's tricky. But man, you'd have to be, if you're anything but gutted for losing that game, I'd be surprised. So yeah, disappointing from the Rebels. They look like they're perhaps a touch better than I thought they were. I was kind of ranking them there or thereabouts, but not quite there based on their early performances. But maybe they are a bit closer to being a contender than I thought. But still, I think they're a touch away, but that's just me. Next, the team that beat them, the Lions. Well, credit to them for coming back from that far down. I'm not sure how many fans left the stadium at halftime, but the ones that stayed are true loyal fans because they saw quite a comeback and managing to get it done with a penalty right at the death. Good result for the Lions. Another team who is very inconsistent, so that'll be frustrating for Lions fans, but hey, they are up a couple of spots, so yeah, maybe they are on their track back to that being that team that we know they are. Next, oops, almost dropped you. Stormers. Who would have thought the Stormers would have been here after week 1? They haven't lost a game since. They haven't been that convincing until this most recent game. I think they'd only scored 2 tries, but then they've finally opened up against the Hog Juarez and managed to get some proper points. So if the Stormers have just been slowly building and are now on that path to actual success, more power to them because they've got the team for it. I, for one, am not complaining. And next, Hurricanes, Bulls, and Crusaders. None of these teams got wins because didn't play, and got a draw. The Hurricanes, I suppose you'll think, if they are going to be a contender, likewise some of the other teams, they'll need to be going and putting the boot into a team which is on their knees, like the Chiefs. They should have been winning that game away, but it was a draw, and it's kind of that argument. In the New Zealand Conference, if you go away and get points, do you take that? A lot of the time you do, but in this context, it was the Chiefs who have been weak. Perhaps they should have been getting a win. They didn't lose, so they didn't really move enough. They still stay ahead of the Stormers. The Bulls and the Crusaders, as I said, didn't play, so there's nothing doing with them. But yeah, it's been a funny week. You know, pretty tragic with those events in Christchurch. You feel for the people down there. There's a lot of talk around that still here in New Zealand at the moment. So the rugby's kind of taken a back seat, which is fair enough. But yeah, I think it's going to be a welcome distraction for a lot of us this coming week as well. But yeah, still a few teams on the bye, so we'll see how things go. You guys let me know your thoughts on the rankings, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.